The glass harmonica. Is this a devil's instrument? A damp finger touches the rim of a spinning glass. At first, there is a faint screech, sharp and brittle. Then the sound softens, blooming into a trembling hum. That seems to float in the air. It does not ring like a bell or resonate like a violin. Instead, it hovers, thin and shimmering, as if it has no clear source at all. Listeners often describe the sensation as unsettling. The sound feels close, too close. Some say it seems to come from everywhere at once. Others swear it feels as though it is coming from inside their own heads. This is the sound of the glass harmonica, an instrument once praised as angelic, later feared as dangerous, and at one point whispered about as the devil's instrument. How did something so fragile earn such a dark reputation? Music made of glass. The glass harmonica produces sound through friction. When a musician presses water-moistened fingers against rotating glass bowls, the glass vibrates and emits a clear, sustained tone. Many people have tried a simpler version by rubbing a finger around the rim of a wine glass. The harmonica transforms that simple effect into a full musical system. The instrument was invented in 1761 by Benjamin Franklin, better known for electricity and politics than for music. After witnessing performances on water-filled glasses, Franklin redesigned the idea entirely. His harmonica used glass bowls nested inside one another, arranged horizontally on a metal spindle. Each bowl was tuned by its size and thickness, not by water level, allowing the instrument to remain permanently in tune. A foot pedal rotated the bowls while the performer lightly touched their rims. Franklin described its sound as incomparably sweet. Audiences agreed. The glass harmonica quickly became a sensation across Europe, praised for its purity and emotional power. An Enlightenment darling. By the late 1700s, the glass harmonica had become a symbol of refinement and scientific curiosity. It appeared in salons, royal courts, and concert halls. Its transparent bowls and mechanical elegance fit perfectly with the Enlightenment's fascination with reason, innovation, and beauty. Major composers embraced it. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart wrote several works specifically for the instrument, including Adagio and Rondo K617, drawn to its fragile, intimate tone. Ludwig van Beethoven and Gaetano Donizetti also used it in their compositions. Even Marie Antoinette reportedly learned to play it as a child. For a moment in history, the instrument represented the very best of human creativity, where science and art met in harmony. But Franklin's dream of a celestial instrument soon collided with the era's growing obsession with the occult and the fragile limits of the human mind. When music crossed the mind. As the glass harmonica's popularity spread, so did unsettling rumors. Listeners reported dizziness, anxiety, and deep sadness after concerts. Performers were said to suffer from trembling hands, nervous exhaustion, and emotional instability. The most famous, and tragic, example was Marianne Davies, the first great virtuoso of the instrument. Davies toured Europe extensively and was admired by leading musicians, including the Mozart family. Over time, however, her health declined. She reportedly developed severe nervous disorders and was eventually institutionalized. Critics of the glass harmonica seized upon her fate as proof that the instrument damaged the mind, whether or not the harmonica was truly responsible. Davies's decline became a cautionary tale and a powerful weapon for those who feared the instrument. Then came the stories that truly frightened the public. In Germany, a widely repeated account claimed that a baby died during a glass harmonica concert, while there is no clear evidence that the instrument caused the death. The incident fueled panic. In some towns, authorities reportedly banned the instrument for disturbing public order. The glass harmonica was no longer merely strange. It was dangerous. Why the sound feels unnatural. Modern science offers a chilling clue to why the instrument disturbed so many listeners. Human ears locate sound by comparing tiny differences in volume and arrival time between the left and right ear. This process allows the brain to triangulate where a sound is coming from. But the glass harmonica produces unusually pure tones close to sine waves, often between 1000 and 4000 Hz. At these frequencies, the brain struggles to determine direction. Instead of sounding as if it comes from the stage, the music can feel disembodied, floating, or eerily internal. Almost as if it originates inside the listener's own head. Today, this effect is fascinating. In the 18th century, it was terrifying. From angelic to diabolical. As fear grew, the glass harmonica gained a sinister nickname, the instrument of the devil. This label emerged most strongly in German-speaking regions, where church authorities viewed the instrument with suspicion. The concern was not only the sound itself, but how it was being used. The harmonica was rarely heard in churches. Instead, it appeared in mesmerism, a form of magnetic healing practiced by Franz Mesmer. To religious critics, these trance-inducing sessions felt occult, even heretical. Music meant to elevate the soul toward God was now being used to manipulate the mind. It was this association with altered consciousness rather than worship that sealed the instrument's unholy reputation. Madness or metal poisoning? Many historians point to a practical explanation for the harmonica's dark reputation: lead. Traditional glass harmonicas were made from lead crystal, sometimes containing nearly a quarter lead by weight. Musicians touched the spinning bowls constantly with wet fingers, and lead poisoning was widespread in the 18th century. Yet this explanation raises an unsettling question. Lead was everywhere. People drank from lead vessels, used lead-based cosmetics, and even took lead as medicine, without reporting the same uniquely disorienting emotional effects so often linked to the glass harmonica. While lead was common, it was the combination of physical toxicity and acoustic disorientation that likely created a perfect storm, one that made the glass harmonica feel uniquely dangerous to both body and mind. Music written for madness. In Lucia di Lammermoor, Gaetano Donizetti originally scored the heroine's famous mad scene for glass harmonica, not flute. The instrument's trembling, fragile sound was meant to mirror Lucia's psychological collapse. Before the premiere, producers replaced it with flutes, fearing the harmonica would be too disturbing for audiences. Why the glass harmonica disappeared. By the early 1800s, the glass harmonica was fading from public life. It was quiet and could not compete with louder orchestras in expanding concert halls. It was fragile, expensive, and difficult to transport, and its reputation, fair or not, had become deeply unsettling. By the 1830s, the instrument had nearly vanished from mainstream performance. A quiet return. The glass harmonica never truly disappeared. Writers and artists continued to use it as a symbol of the supernatural and the unseen. In 1968, Soviet filmmaker Andrei Krzyzanowski released The Glass Harmonica, a surreal animated film in which the instrument's music represents imagination, individuality, and freedom of thought. The film was banned by Soviet censors, not because the harmonica symbolized madness, but because it symbolized mental independence. In a striking reversal of history, the same instrument once feared for causing loss of control was now feared for encouraging people to think for themselves. In modern times, musicians such as Dennis James have revived the instrument, using modern, lead-free materials such as quartz glass. Today, its sound appears in film scores, experimental music, and atmospheric recordings, no longer feared, but still haunting. So, is it a devil's instrument? The glass harmonica was never evil. What frightened people was its power, to slip past logic, to stir emotion, and to make the mind feel vulnerable. In an age without neuroscience or acoustics, that power felt supernatural. Fear filled the gap where understanding did not yet exist. Today, when we hear the glass harmonica, it no longer sounds dangerous. Instead, it reminds us how easily beauty can become suspicion, and how deeply music can affect us when it speaks directly to the mind. The glass harmonica was not cursed. It was simply too intimate for its time.
It's time to study new words in context. 1. Brittle. Definition: easily broken, cracked, or damaged, often suggesting fragility or weakness. Example: the glass bowls looked beautiful, but brittle, as if one wrong touch could shatter them. 2. Shimmering. Definition: softly shining or glowing in a way that appears to move or flicker. Example: a shimmering sound filled the room as the glass harmonica began to play. 3. Unsettling. Definition: causing discomfort, unease, or a feeling that something is not quite right. Example: the music was beautiful, yet strangely unsettling to the listeners. 4. Friction. Definition: the resistance created when two surfaces rub against each other, producing heat or sound. Example: the instrument makes sound through friction between wet fingers and glass. 5. Spindle. Definition: a long, thin rod that rotates and holds objects in place. Example: the glass bowls were mounted on a rotating spindle, powered by a foot pedal. 6. Celestial. Definition: relating to the heavens or having a pure, heavenly quality. Example: many listeners describe the harmonica's tone as celestial and otherworldly. 7. Occult. Definition: involving mysterious or supernatural practices beyond scientific explanation. Example: church leaders feared that Mesmer's work belonged to the occult rather than medicine. 8. Nervous exhaustion. Definition: extreme mental and physical fatigue caused by prolonged stress or emotional strain. Example: performers reported nervous exhaustion after long periods of playing the instrument. 9. Instability. Definition: a lack of balance or emotional control, often leading to unpredictable behavior. Example: critics claimed the music caused emotional instability in sensitive listeners. 10. Virtuoso. Definition: a person with exceptional skill, especially in music or the arts. Example: Mary Ann Davies was considered a virtuoso of the glass harmonica. 11. Nervous disorders. Definition: medical conditions affecting the brain or nervous system, often involving anxiety, tremors, or mood changes. Example: she was diagnosed with nervous disorders after years of public performance. 12. Institutionalized. Definition: placed in a medical or mental health facility for long-term care. Example: Mary Ann Davies was eventually institutionalized due to her declining health. 13. Triangulate. Definition: to determine a position or source by comparing information from multiple points. Example: the brain struggles to triangulate where the glass harmonica's sound is coming from. 14. Disembodied. Definition: seeming to exist without a physical source or body. Example: the music felt disembodied, as though it floated freely in the air. 15. Eerily. Definition: in a strange or frightening way that feels unnatural. Example: the room grew eerily quiet as the final note faded. 16. Diabolical. Definition: associated with the devil or extreme evil, often used to express fear or moral judgment. Example: some critics describe the instrument as diabolical rather than musical. 17. Sinister. Definition: giving the impression that something harmful or threatening is present. Example: the harmonica's reputation grew darker and more sinister over time. 18. Mesmerism. Definition: an early medical practice based on the belief that invisible forces could influence the human body and mind. Example: mesmerism used music and suggestion to place patients into altered states. 19. Trance-inducing. Definition: capable of placing someone into a deeply focused or semi-unconscious mental state. Example: the slow, repetitive tones were described as trance-inducing. 20. Heretical. Definition: going against accepted religious beliefs or church teachings. Example: religious authorities considered Mesmer's methods heretical. 21. Toxicity. Definition. The quality of being poisonous or harmful to the body or mind. Example. Lead toxicity may have contributed to performers' health problems. 22. Vulnerable. Definition. Easily affected or harmed, especially emotionally or physically. Example. Listeners felt vulnerable to the music's emotional power. 23. It was simply too intimate for its time. Definition. A phrase meaning that something affected people too personally or deeply for society to understand or accept at that moment in history. Example. The glass harmonica was rejected because it was simply too intimate for its time.
Comprehension questions. 1. What physical action produces sound on the glass harmonica? Answer. Sound is produced when a player touches water-moistened fingers to rotating glass bowls, causing the glass to vibrate through friction. 2. Who invented the glass harmonica, and in what year? Answer. Benjamin Franklin invented the glass harmonica in 1761. 3. How was Franklin's glass harmonica different from earlier musical glasses? Answer. Franklin's design used nested glass bowls, arranged horizontally on a spindle and tuned by size, not by water level, allowing the instrument to stay permanently in tune. 4. Why was the glass harmonica admired during the Enlightenment period? Answer. It symbolized scientific curiosity, elegance, and innovation, combining mechanical design with emotional musical expression. 5. Name one famous composer who wrote music specifically for the glass harmonica. Answer. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart wrote music specifically for the glass harmonica, including Adagio and Rondo K617. 6. What kinds of negative physical or emotional effects were reported by listeners and performers? Answer. People reported dizziness, anxiety, deep sadness, nervous exhaustion, trembling, and emotional instability. 7. Who was Marianne Davies, and why is she important to the instrument's history? Answer. Marianne Davies was the first major virtuoso of the glass harmonica. Her public decline and eventual institutionalization were used by critics as evidence that the instrument caused madness. 8. What tragic rumor involving a concert intensified public fear of the glass harmonica? Answer. A widely circulated story claimed that a baby died during a glass harmonica concert, leading to panic and local bans in some German towns. 9. Why does the glass harmonica's sound feel difficult to locate in space? Answer. It produces pure tones between 1000 and 4000 Hz, a frequency range where the human brain struggles to determine the direction of sound. 10. Why did some people believe the glass harmonica was a devil's instrument? Answer. Because its sound felt unnatural and because it was associated with mesmerism, which religious authorities viewed as occult and dangerous. 11. How was the glass harmonica used in mesmerism? Answer. Franz Mesmer used the instrument during magnetic healing sessions to help trance-like states in patients. 12. What role did lead crystal play in the instrument's reputation for danger? Answer. Many glass harmonicas were made from lead crystal, and constant contact may have contributed to lead poisoning symptoms such as tremors and depression. 13. Why is lead poisoning alone not a complete explanation for the instrument's reputation? Answer. Because lead was common in everyday life at the time, yet the glass harmonica was uniquely associated with emotional and psychological distress. 14. Why did the glass harmonica largely disappear by the 1830s? Answer. It was quiet, fragile, expensive, difficult to transport, and burdened by a reputation for being dangerous and unsettling. 15. How did the meaning of the glass harmonica change in the 1968 Soviet film The Glass Harmonica? Answer. Instead of symbolizing madness or loss of control, the harmonica represented freedom of thought and imagination, which led to the film being banned by Soviet authorities.